Every day, calls come into the National Center for Life and Liberty because the unthinkable occurred. Someone got into a serious accident with the church vehicle. A child was injured on the grounds of the church and was rushed to the hospital. After the individual or individuals are taken care of personally, the question of insurance, coverage, and liability starts to be reviewed. Ensuring the protection of your church requires preparation, because when that moment occurs, it will be too late. The first area of liability review is the incorporation of your church. This is an area that is discussed frequently because incorporation creates a shield of liability for your membership and leadership board. Churches are constitutionally given 501c3 status. However, to be tax exempt as an organization, a church must be formally organized. A formal organization doesn't mean that a church must be incorporated, but every church, regardless of corporate status, must adopt a written document as its standard of organization. Now, this written document may be called by different names, depending on whether or not it's for church planning to incorporate or not. For an incorporated church, for example, they're called the Articles of Incorporation. Generally, they're called the Articles of Association for an unincorporated church. A church can also be organized as a trust or an unincorporated association. If the church has no formal written document giving evidence of its creation, hear me carefully, the church is not exempt from federal taxation. The NCLL recommends that churches incorporate. Why? Because incorporation provides many benefits that are not available to unincorporated churches. The incorporated church may own and transfer property in the name of the church, enter into contracts, and often take out loans in the name of the church without requiring personal guarantees of the church's leadership. One of the primary benefits of incorporation is the liability shield that incorporation provides for church members and leaders in the event of a lawsuit against the church. In most states, churches that do not have formal incorporation do not receive this liability protection for their members and leaders. There have been instances where an accident occurs, and because the church is not incorporated, every single member is sued in lieu of suing the entity. Incorporating ensures a liability barrier between the church and its members. To be exempt from federal income taxation, the purposes of the church need to be limited and stated as such in its formal organizational document. Stating the limitations of the purposes for organizing only in the bylaws rather than the organizational document will not satisfy the requirements of Section 501c3. A business may organize with the general purpose of engaging in any legal activity, but a tax-exempt organization must declare that its purposes are limited to those stated in Internal Revenue Code Section 501c3. A church's organizational document should state that its purposes are, and these are key words, religious, charitable, and educational. A church may also explain with more particularity the activities in which it wants to engage, but at some point in the purpose clause of that document, the legal words religious, charitable, and educational must be included. We would recommend not restating those words in other terms. If you want to ensure that your articles of incorporation are compliant with the law, you can send them to info@ncll.org for a review. As a tax-exempt organization, care must be taken to ensure that all activities of the organization fall within the Internal Revenue Code Section 501c3. Benevolence fund gifts, compensation, loans, sales and lease agreements, and private business interests are all areas that need to be looked at carefully before proceeding. Documentation of any transaction, for example, providing a benevolence gift or compensation, should be filed and maintained for a period of at least 7 years. If you have any questions about a transaction, a gift, or an agreement, contact the NCLL today to have this reviewed to ensure that your ministry stays protected and within the law. At the NCLL, we want your ministry to experience maximum ministry with minimum liability. Our office stands ready to review your articles of incorporation or to start your incorporation process today. Please don't wait till it's too late to ensure the right protections are in place for your ministry. Once again, you can send your articles of incorporation to info@ncll.org, and our legal team will review them to help ensure you've covered all the necessary areas of concern.